so for Vice President Biden, there are many paths to the White House. He could lose Florida tonight and still have a great chance of winning the White House. If Trump loses, it's a done data for him, as my grandfather used to say.
A done data.
It's a done data. So basically what Biden needs to do is hold on to the states that Hillary won and then reclaim the blue wall, so the upper Midwest, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. He's been doing well steadily in Michigan and Wisconsin since he announced. And Pennsylvania is close, but he feels like he can flip it. He was there today in Scranton, where he was born, relating to people, working hard to kind of get the rural vote out. And he's doing better. He's overperforming there better than Hillary did in 2016. He's able to relate to working class voters more than she was able to. And like I said, the metropolitan areas respond to Joe Biden. He's a candidate that attracts more of a diverse tent.
Yeah, this blue wall.
So what he's looking at now is just to see if he could eke out just enough votes in those rural areas, because the metropolitan areas have essentially turned their back on him.
All right, stand by. We want to go now and talk this election night.
No, at least for Biden's supporters, it's COVID. And they believe, at least 90%, 60% of them, I believe, they believe that you can't rebuild the economy unless you control COVID and you address it. For Trump supporters, it's probably fifth on their list. They don't believe that COVID is an issue.
How do you explain that the gun problem in the United States, why is that not a burning issue on this election night?
I think that with guns, it's something that's always coming up. It's an evergreen thing. And so we haven't had an attack in a while. And then when one happens, then it's in the news. I remember last year when I was in Singapore, my brother-in-law, he's a teacher, and there was a kid with a weapon. And because there had been a series of shootings across the U.S., they all thought that the child had a gun. So my brother-in-law was in a closet with a bunch of kids, trying to wait it out, texting my sister saying he loves her and the kids. And this was so profound and so big, even in our family. And then COVID happened, and then we kind of lost track of it.
Yeah, I mean, is it that there's this competition of movements in the United States, or is it that Americans have become desensitized?
Is very present, but the way that the two sides see the issue is quite different.
We should also just say that with the youth quake, this is the youth vote. It's higher than in 2016. And a lot of those young kids, they're looking at the environment, and they're also looking at guns.
Yeah, let's kind of switch from the power of... Yeah.
And for a country like Germany, they're going to be faced with a lot of tough decisions if Donald Trump is reelected, because that is not going to be the ally that they had relied on for the past 70 years.
And Angela Merkel, she's seen a lot of presidents. She saw George W. Bush, there was Barack Obama, and with these presidents, it took a while for her to warm up. But she had a very close relationship with Barack Obama.
Yeah.
In the end.
Yeah, she worked very well with him. And so it wouldn't be difficult to imagine that she would work well with the guy who was his number two, Joe Biden. If Donald Trump were to be reelected, I think that his foreign policy would be Trump on steroids. So whatever you think you've seen and you thought was crazy now, 2020 was nothing.
All right. Well, we know steroids are really bad for you, especially your liver. All right.
Pennsylvania, for example, we were talking about the lawsuits that the Republicans were levying against Pennsylvania, and part of that had to do with how they were allowing ballots to come in. So if they were postmarked by Election Day, they had 3 days in order to come in afterwards. And the Trump campaign didn't like this, but there was a ruling and said, yes, this can happen. So we might not get final results from Pennsylvania until Friday. So we're talking about patience there. Wisconsin and Michigan were also slow to get their mail-in ballots tallied. They had to wait until Election Day. So we're seeing tight numbers now, but we'll most likely see if what the polls are saying is true, more of a blue shift as the numbers come in. But let's take a moment to look at Arizona, because this is traditionally a Republican state, and Biden is on course to be the second Democratic president. If he wins, he'll be the second Democratic president to win it since 1948.
Yeah.
So a lot of changes here. But what he really needs is that blue wall, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania.
And if we...
Yeah, it'll make things harder. But I think the difference between the way a Biden would govern and a Trump would govern, I think that he would try to actually get people in a room and negotiate. I don't think Trump and Nancy Pelosi have been in the same space for about a year, where they've spoken one-on-one. That's a problem when it comes to leadership.
But do you think the Republicans in the U.S. Senate, are they Trumpians, or are they willing to talk and compromise with a Democratic
There
president?
are some that are Trumpian, I suppose, but I think that if Biden wins and Trump is out of the White House, there'll be less Trumpian. There'll be more people that are willing to work, I hope, I think. Also, people keep talking about the Senate in regards to the Supreme Court. They keep asking Biden, are you going to pack the court with, new justices? That's a moot point if the Republicans hold on to the Senate. If the Democrats were to hold on, were to be able to flip and get, they need 3 seats if Biden wins and 4 if not. But let's say that they have enough seats, then you can start talking about adding justices. But the Republicans wouldn't go along with it.
But it's not even just the court. I think that the Republicans had a pretty successful strategy. Mitch McConnell, he attempted to make Barack Obama one-term president. That wasn't successful, but maybe really make it difficult to even appoint cabinet officials.
I wouldn't doubt it. That there's no indication that they would change their strategy.
Right.
Is that also part of the story that I think a lot